Howdy, 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 and thank you for joining me tonight here, February 25th, 2024. What a beautiful Sunday it was. It's cold as ice this morning, but it got up almost to 50 degrees today here in Southeast Michigan. Good day for all. Kids were over, had a great evening, great meal with the family, and I hope everyone else is having just as good a day as we had. Uh, Saying hi to everybody that's in here. Wow, I see there's a lot of people already. Of course, everybody make sure you say howdy to Laura Waldy. I don't see if Gary's been in yet, but Laura and Gary are the new mods for the channel. I think they're doing a terrific job. Great people. Um, Voice of One crying, howdy. Lisa Marie, Mona Englert, Sarah Bauman, Julie B, Grace and Faith for All. Nice name. Hillary Murphy. Let's see here. Hillary. FYI, Chicago Audit is asking for everyone to spread the word about the opening in Chicago of the new org on March 3rd. Anyone in the area to help? Dadgone, when is March 3rd? That is going to be next Sunday. Well, I tell you what, Hillary, shoot me an email and let me make sure I'm typing right. There we go. There's my email. Shoot me an email with the information. I might try to make that run over there. I know the wife's always interested in a day out in Chicago. So, Julie B, Wayne's World of Science and Technology, Grand Theft Hoopty, Cy, Helen CP, Chitza. What's up, Chitza? How's things going down Bama way? Becca Jean, Goosebump 801, Mandy McGree. Thank you for joining us, Mandy. Mandy Gonzalez, as always. Jenny Wong. Rather be in Maui. I'd rather be in Thailand, but Maui don't sound bad. And speaking of Thailand, there's our old pal Dave from Gotta Love Thailand. If you haven't gotten a chance, everybody get over there and take a look at Dave's channel. He does some great content from Thailand, living over there now, married, got a great family, great life. Oh man, it makes me so jealous. Pippi Longstocking, one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. Joel McCoy. Let's see. Clearly suppressive. There we go. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Cold there, Dave. Now, cold in Thailand. That's like 70 degrees, brother. You ain't playing us for that one now. Ren, are you gelling? Care for JCYT. Let's see. Hey, Kate Murphy's here. Windy City Thetan Watch. Yeah. The Nana Boss audits and investigations. That's pretty cool. I like that. Lisa, and I'm making sure Tracy Franklin, and Phyllis Vance, Jehovah's Witness Apostate. Howdy, welcome back. Mother's Gowrie, JNC Orobno, and it looks like we caught up. Oh, and Susanna. Howdy, everybody. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. The rabbit's here. Hey, Alex, thanks you for joining us. And Mary Kay. Okay, got a few housekeeping things we got to take care of before we get started here. We're working on a lot of different things that are going on. Chad and I were talking about it earlier, and we're thinking about going ahead and moving forward with it this Saturday, doing the chatathon for Miriam Francis. And what we want to do is we want to raise the remaining amount of money that Miriam's looking for to get the DSR treatment for her PTSI and for a lot of the problems that she's got going on. We all know about Miriam's story. We know why she's needing this. Oh, it's not that rabbit. Okay, my apologies. But you got in here one time and everybody went nuts thinking it was Alex, but sorry about that. So if you're interested in helping us raise the rest of the money for Miriam to be able to get the DSR treatment for her PTSI, we're going to move forward with it. I'll get in touch with Miriam this week. It's just been absolutely crazy with everything that's going on. Let me see. I got a couple of questions right off the bat. Thoughts on the perceived petty nature of some of the assaults and the subsequent complaints thereafter. There's been a lot of stuff going on with that. I believe that on things like this, I don't believe in something called coincidence. I believe that a lot of these things are adjoined, interconnected, and they're a problem. Um, I believe that once the smoke clears, and the problem is that we're having the problem with, the police seem to be having their own mindset, and they're being led by the nose by another organization. Once the smoke clears and true minds start working together on this, I think there's going to be a lot of arrest on the other side of the spectrum than what there's been so far. I think they got one arrest already. They're looking at a second one. Um, so it's, the thing is that my thoughts on it is these assaults and all that, they're perpetrated for the simple purpose of they want to cause as much disruption and problems as possible for the Squirrel Squad, DOA, those folks out there. And I think that there needs to be a lot of people that need to be facing criminal charges for it. Jehovah's Witness apostate. Can we charge laws to prosecute Jehovah's Witness parents risking their children's lives by not allowed blood transfusion? Well, I've talked about that before, and it comes down to the fact of whether or not the state law is the one that is the state laws are going to be the ones that are the problem with it. And as always, I'm a big proponent of the fact of we can't, we can't be silent. We have to continually, and I put the link in there again, as I do every live stream. We have to continually go after our House of Representatives, our state senators, our state representatives, our governors, our attorney generals. We need to get the people who are making the laws, make them open their eyes and do the right thing. And that's the only way. I can't change laws. You can't change laws. But you get in the ear of the folks that do write the laws, and they have enough people screaming at them, they gotta start doing what the people want. Let's see here. How can the government take away tax exemption from Jehovah's Witnesses? I've talked to several attorneys who work in that area. And I've also talked to members of the House of Representatives. I've talked to members of, different governing bodies. And it's not as easy as you think, but it can be done. We just have to band together. We have to make sure we're continuing to show a united front on things, and that we're being loud and we're not going to shut up. That's how we start this ball rolling. But before we get into this much further, we got to bring in our old pal. He is here with us every Sunday night, and he's got to give us that weather report. Hey, Chad.
Hey, Poe. Thanks for having me.
Howdy.
All right, let's get right to work. Temperature in Clearwater, Florida, Clearwater, Buffalo is 42 degrees, 0% pre-tip, Poe. The wind is at 16, and Roscoe advises that from the Sky Chopper that it's 38% humid, Poe.
All right, and yeah, we've already talked about that dog getting up in a helicopter, but he don't listen. So, Chad, so we ready to move forward next Saturday? Start working with this?
I don't picture anyone stopping us, Poe.
Excellent. I'm going to, like I said, I'll be in touch with Miriam this week and make sure all is good. I've got a bunch of people want to come on and want to help out with it. I don't think it's going to take us much time at all to raise that extra amount of money that she's needing. My understanding, it's $1,000 to $2,000 that she needs to raise to have the final amount to get that DSR treatment. And I don't think I think that the Chadathon is going to be more like a Chad half hour than anything else. But if we raise it quick, then we'll just keep going without doing the the fundraising and everything, and we'll get things going that way. Just make sure everybody gets a good night. Not focus on the bad. We want to focus on the positives with it. We want to make sure everybody understands and are ready to come out and help her out with what's going on. So what else is going on, Chad? What we got going on up your way?
Oh, I'm trying to think, Paul. It's not really too much going on over here.
Really? You got a gaming microphone on there with them headphones?
Oh yeah, it's one of my sons.
That's awesome. Reconnecting. How did it go with the DSR? Let us know how that went. We had a fantastic talk with Jamie Mustard 2 weeks ago, and oh yeah, Mona, yeah. had a fantastic talk with Jamie, and reading his book, I think it's absolutely amazing. Money is going to come quick. Yeah, I think so. I think that this is not going to be a problem at all. Jehovah's Witness apostate. When is the trip to Ensenada with Janice and Mark? And as a matter of fact, Mark is here. So Mark, let him know when that is. When that's going to happen. If you haven't already, I'm pretty sure you may have already done it. Let's see. Oh, Verna Corden is here. Verna has a great channel here on YouTube. She lives over in the Philippines, does a lot of great content out of there. I jump in when I can, so make sure you give her a check. Let's see. I don't know, Peter, if there is a public peace order in the UK. I think that's something that's, like a California thing. Some other places, I never dealt with them here in Michigan. I've never seen a public peace order. It might be what they're calling use it many times to shut people down, such as swearing. Okay, what we're talking about is disorderly conduct. And we do have those in almost every single state that there is. And the thing is it's like with any law, it can be subjective. Mainly what we used it for was a way to get people to calm down and get them out of the area. That was the easiest way to handle it. But there's been many times where you just literally have to lock someone up. But it's not here in the US. It's not just swearing. It has to be more than that. It has to be conduct that causes either threat, harm, or the threat of harm to people that are in the public. And primarily they're centered around women and children. Nowadays, I think it's more towards children that they're looking at when they impose the disorderly conduct laws. So, and oh my goodness, Marilyn Honig is here. And is Duncan in here yet? How is Duncan doing, Marilyn? I've been so busy, haven't had a chance to check today. So, and Mark, Jehovah's Witness apostate is asking when the cruise is going to be that's going down to Ensenada, and wanted to know the details on that. There's so many of these things going on. Wendy City Thetan here. Chicago PD was meeting with Church of Scientology execs at the new org. Can we FOIA why they were there? The officer told us it was private and would not give us his name. Well, that's BS. Why is he refusing? And I'm not saying it's BS. You're BS. My question on it is pretty much every department I've ever seen that's here in the United States. If you ask an officer's name, badge number, they have to give it to you. So I don't know when, I don't know where he gets away saying he can't do it, but yeah, anything that they do can be FOIA'd. I can tell you pretty much why they're there. They're trying to get them there to talk to everyone, talk to the police, and trying to tell them, oh, look at what's going on out in LA. You can expect these kinds of things, these kinds of threats coming in and all that. They aren't going to tell you that they're coming anonymously from within a building there or something, and Jehovah's Witness apostate has been postponed. People dropped out, so they're rescheduling it. So we'll make sure you keep us updated on that and let us know what's going on. Hillary Murphy filed a complaint for PD not giving you information, especially if it's on video. And that's another thing, Windy City Titan. Make sure that if you're going to have any contact or anything like that, you cover your butt. All right. Film it. And if you can, have someone that you can trust that's there with you, and have them filming as well, so that if they try to pull any kind of monkey business, that they're going to, you're covered in two different ways on that. Monica Unknown, and welcome, Monica. Hi, haha. I came in a little late for the first time I'm doing 1.5 speed, trying to catch up. It's hard to get used to. I hope I'll know when I'm caught up. You're caught up. So there you go. There's your marker. Awesome. Duncan is doing much better. Great. Let's see here. Question from Julie B. Can a bouncer refuse to give body cam footage, refuse to hand over the footage? Bouncers are private citizens. All right. They may be employed by someone, but the thing is, they are, they're not public servants. So if they have body cam footage, the way that they'd have to get that is they'd have to subpoena it or get a warrant for it. Let's see here. Mandy Gonzalez donating. Besides donating, what can I do for help for the fundraiser? We're looking at a few different things. The biggest problems we're having right now are shipping what is, if someone gives us something to auction off, the biggest things are shipping at the cost of that, because the way we're setting this up, we are not going to touch any of the funds. We're going to set it up so it all goes directly to Miriam. So if we say, if you want to donate to Miriam, we'll have the rolling banner down at the bottom that shows all that. And you just go right to that, and we'll have the mods continually putting the links in the chat. But, that's one of the things, is having things that we're going to try to auction off or something like that. We'll see how it goes. But I think we're going to have no problem reaching the goals very quickly. Comment, do I have his image on video? I do have his image on video, and we had several folks there. I was miffed, but also not fearless, so did not press the officer. Yeah, I mean, just always make sure you cover your butt. Make sure, because after what I'm seeing out of LA, I'm not surprised by what some of these officers who are connected with this organization are doing. Do you think PIs are putting nails in the protesters' tires? Should I be careful? I go to LA and protest. Always be careful. Always. You see what's happened to DOA. You see what's happened to others. So, I mean, I got a message the other night from Liz Ferris, and she's like, "Hey, did somebody get arrested?" But apparently, no one had gotten arrested. But the thing is that that's one of the major concerns is if you show up and you're doing this, is there a chance you can go get locked up? So always be careful. And I don't know if it's PIs doing it. I don't know if it's Scientology people doing it. I don't know if it's vagrants, people who are, these folks that they see are, we see in all these other videos that are coming up and attacking the protesters, going at them and things like that. We don't know if it's them. We don't know who's doing it. What I do know is it seems too much of a coincidence that you're having nails put in tires and, in Florida, and then all the way across in California and over in Washington, D.C. It's happening in a lot of places. So I have no problem whatsoever in not believing that there's no coincidence in that. All right. I have you can't have the same kind of attack happening in multiple places across the nation. And some of them happened on the same night. So that there's no coincidence there.
In my opinion, too, Poe, I agree. Plus, the position of the nail is in the sidewall. It's not like you just ran it over.
Yeah, and great point, Chad. Great point. Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if they had ran over nails, got nails in their tires. Lord knows we, with having a courier service of putting hundreds of miles on the car a day, we are constantly, I'm constantly, and if you've seen in my past videos I put up, I know how to patch a hole in a tire. So my wife will come home, she'll go, I think I got a hole in my tire, I got a nail through it or something, it's got a slow leak, I'll go check it, pull it, patch it, back on the road. That's one thing. We get them all the time. It's another thing to have people thousands of miles apart have the same thing happen to them in the same way. And it's not through the face of the tire, it's through the sidewall of the tire. And it's not like the nail just jumped up on the road and stuck itself in that tire. I think that if it was as bad as from what I'm hearing from like Lori Plays and some of the others, I mean, literally you would have heard the air coming right out of the tire when it happened. And our other mod, Gary Mackey's in here tonight. Thank you, Gary, for being here. As always, appreciate both you and Laura and what the work you're doing and how much you're helping the channel out. Let's see. So I'm just looking around, seeing what else is going on here. All right. So let's see. What were we going to talk about, Chad, tonight besides the main topic? I'm just, Phyllis, yeah. That is an excellent point.
Oh, yeah, John.
And it's only the protesters' cars. So, yeah, I'm just making sure I don't miss any other topics because I'm like a stray dog. You can get my attention going 50 different ways at once. So we've talked about Miriam.
We're going to talk about John Travolta.
No, we're going to get into the main topic in a minute here. Okay. Just starring a couple of comments there. Let's see. We talked about Miriam. We talked about that. We talked about what's going on in other things. Answered a few questions there. Some I've had a lot of people asking me if I'm going to go to LA and join in with the protests. I would love to, folks, but the problem is, like I've said before, I'm on a pension. I'm on a fixed budget. We live comfortably. Don't worry about that. It's a matter of, it's going to cost, a couple grand to go do it. So, it's just not something I can actually put into, take that money and go do it. And some folks had talked about doing a fundraiser to do it and everything. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that's up here asking for money for myself. Okay. I hate even the thought of something like that. And it's not a matter of, I'm too good for it or anything like that. I've always been one of those that I make sure I am, I work very hard to make sure that I can support my family and support the things that we need and want. And that's just how it is. So yeah, maybe it's pride. I don't know what it is, but it's just a matter of, for me, I just have a real problem, asking for myself. If it's for someone like Miriam, that will never be a problem for me, but for myself, no. We'll see. Joe McQueen commented, does not surprise me at all that you and Chad are stepping up for Miriam. You guys are definition of stand-up guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe.
How you like that, Chad?
I like it a lot. Joel's a good guy.
Yeah. And coming from Joel, that means a lot. Yeah. Kim Candu, my dad belonged to the Good Old Boys Club in Southern LA back in the 70s. I can tell you they are as corrupt as a MF. And my dad belonged to Arcadia PD. Are you talking about the Louisiana or Los Angeles Old Boys? Because Louisiana had a whole lot of corruption that was going on in that mess that's going on out there. And Jehovah's Witness, I thought it was a woman flicked a cigarette at Laura. I may be mistaken, but that's what I thought I heard. Wow, Chris Hellcat received 2 flats last night.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Wow, Chris without a Hellcat. That's somebody else. We need to get that boy a Hellcat. And we got Southern California. Okay, yeah, I was just making sure on that. Well, thank you, Jane. Poe is exactly where he needs to be for us. He's giving us real information from a law enforcement background. Excellent, thank you. But Chad and I are going to be heading down to Clearwater. We're going to set a date for it real soon here. Chad just needs a date so he can go ahead and request the time off from work. And it's not going to be a big long trip. We're literally Chad's going to come this way because he's got the Prius, which 5,000 miles to the gallon on that thing. We'll be able to get down the road a lot better. And we're literally going to leave out. We're going to drive straight on down to Clearwater, Florida. And once we get there, we are going to meet up with some folks down there, go find some place to get washed up, cleaned up, take a little cat nap. I want to do the 1A auditing during the daytime. I like the fact that folks are doing it at night. And I think, yeah, we can get out there and we can do it in the daytime, and we can also go back later in the evening. But we're only going to be down there for like 1 full day, and then we're heading straight on back. Okay. Squirrel SPTV comment with the cigarettes. It was a man on one day and a woman on the other. Okay. Yeah, there's, honestly, folks, both Chad and I are working full time. Chad's working 2 jobs. And then getting ready for the lives. I literally don't have the ability to keep up with all the different channels that are going on with it. And it will be it'd just be real hard. Let's see, Jane Brown, great. Chad and Poe together in real life for us. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, was talking to Chad about it. We'd already set it up. The wife and I have already planned it out. We're heading over to Buffalo for the solar eclipse that's going to be coming up in April. So either Chad and I are going to meet before that and head down to Clearwater, or we'll meet when the wife and I go over there for the solar eclipse. It was Serge that got 2 flat tires, not Chris. Okay. Let's see. Looking at all these. Let's see. Snazzy Yoto, aka Sergio, got 2 flat tires, and Street's got a cigarette flicked at him. That's a, you know what? I mean, other than the cost of the tires, I think they're gonna. I think it was a good night for them. Let's see. Mother's Gallery. When you go to Clearwater, don't get any drinks or food at Starbucks or any business in this Church Scientology territory. I've got some places around that area I want to go to. There's some folks I know down in that area. I want to take Chad and get him a good seafood dinner. What do you think about that, Chad?
That sounds good. I thought we were going to go to AA Ron's house, get some lunch.
Yeah, make him cook for us. But we'll get swatted. So let's see. Sally Tal. Burning cigarettes have become a brandished weapon of choice for COS. Wow. Jehovah's Witness, that's the plan, is that we're going to meet up with Aaron and some of the other folks that have been doing the protesting and the 1A auditing out there at the all the stuff in Clearwater. But yeah, that's the plan, is to meet up with him. So we're going to try to schedule everything around when AA Ron's going to be in town, and we'll see just how bad he's messed up when we get there. Let's see here. Peter Fisher, people should request records from PD of malicious damage regarding motor vehicles, regarding tires. Yeah, and that's something else. Okay, I'm going to try it. Miss my mama. Why don't ants drown when it rains? I don't know. I'm waiting for it. But yeah, we're gonna try to meet up with everybody when we get down there, and we're going to be joining in with their protesting and 1A auditing of the Scientology stuff down there. Oh no, Jehovah's Witness, they ain't gonna let me in a building. Let's see here. Comment. When I noticed in the responses from Mike R. and Matt P. and the Dog Flea Lawyer is that they seem very immature, like COS doesn't allow normal emotional development, like high school kids arguing. Well, think about it. When you hear so many of them talk about they don't even have a high school diploma. All right. And growing up in that is you're in a bubble, you're constricted in what you're doing, and education isn't one of the things that they do. And treating children with the thought process of you are old or immortal spirits trapped in young bodies, and so there's no such thing as a child. I would say that the maturity and all that stuff are going to become retarded, and I'm not saying it as in the bad word retarded, as in slowing down, inhibiting. It's going to, retard the ability to gain that emotional, social functioning that children would get from going to school, things like that. And they're going to actually mature as they go. And they're going to, evolve into adults. So I would say there's always going to be some kind of problem with that. And when you listen to people like Liz Ferris and Serge and a lot of the different people, you're going to see, and they'll tell you that there's a lot of problems that they have. And they have a lot of problems in dealing with society from the aspect of being someone who was in Scientology coming out. And that's a real problem there and that's one of the things that the Aftermath Foundation was hoped to be, was an organization that was going to help them in that transition, not just with, and we're not just thinking about this financial aspect of it. We're thinking about the ability to get counseling, or like in Miriam's case, get the DSR for the PTSI. So, Jed, you have something to say there?
Oh, no, I was just listening, Phil.
Let's see. Barry Taylor, did Hans Uter get arrested after the attack on DOA from the UK? Can anybody say whether or not that happened? I don't know.
Not sure.
Let's see. Mother's Gallery, growing up in Scientology, not only a lack of formal education, but their techniques teach you to remove all emotions. Terrible. Yep. Excellent point. Point there. Let's see. Jehovah's Witness apostate. Do Scientology kids feel like adults because that's the way they're taught? It's a very confused. From talking with Liz, especially Liz Ferris, and hashtag Where's Bob Ferris, or Set Bob, or Free Bob Ferris. talking with Liz, there's this whole conflict that built in them. If you remember the Fantastic Beasts movies that came out, how these magical entities came about because they had to suppress the fact they had magic. I imagine it's something like that. You have all these childish innovations, all these childish drives, and especially when you're getting into teenage years, young men are overloaded with testosterone. Young girls have different hormonal charges that are going through them. Think about how hard it was for most of us in what would be normal society, how hard that was for us coming up and trying to figure out what is going on with me. We all had that kind of feeling growing up as teenagers. Think about that being that conflict of those things going on in your head, in your heart, your body's changing, and you're supposed to be told, ignore it. You're not allowed to you're not allowed to have emotions. You're not allowed to show emotions. And so they all come up with this whole mentality that they are trying to act as much like adults as these hardcore soldiers and robots or whatever that they're trying to make them. They come out with that mindset and they go into adulthood and they never had the opportunity to express themselves as teenagers or young people would. So it's going to be that really starts to add on the weight of the severity of what they're going through. Then you look at, things like Jamie Musser talking about being born and taken from the delivery ward straight into this baby factory is the best way I can describe it, where they have one person watching over 32 newborn babies and just ignoring them, growing up without social interaction, growing out without a loving touch. You look at that, then you look at the horrible abuses of just the physical assaults that happen on these children. And it's not just the adults, it's other children who are put in a senior position over the other children doing it to them. You listen to these stories that are coming out. How can these folks come out without a ton of baggage on them? Squirrel SBTV. I made multiple reports to the FBI DOJ regarding human trafficking and LAPD corruption. The FBI called me Friday. If you are a victim, wow. Straight on, Squirrel, straight on. Exactly what I'm talking about. Stay the fight. Stay the fight. So, and folks, if you are a victim of either, please refile your complaint with the DOJ. They're starting to hear. They're starting to listen. They're starting to move. Just remember, it doesn't happen overnight. And don't be discouraged by that. Okay? That's a fact of it, is these things can take time. Don't give up and keep pushing forward. And now we got Squirrel SPTV, got a call back from the Department of Justice. That is great. Absolutely awesome. Now let's see. There we go. Peter Foster, police should use the protesters' cameras as a tool for investigation. Absolutely. And I think that they were doing that when they arrested DOA. They said they were off on the side. They had gathered up over there or mustered up, and they were watching the live streams. So they know what's going on. And that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how quickly they respond when it's someone else calling them, but when it's the protesters, it's interesting. Let's see. I've missed a couple of discussions in there. Hey, Lizeka's here. So what do you think, Chad? What do you think about all this mess, how this has gone so far?
I think Scientology's getting scared, Poe. They're trying all these petty games with the tires and arresting people. They have nothing, their power is decreasing and our community's power is increasing.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with that. And folks, I've had at least 5 people ask me if this is moonshine in this jar. It's not, it's water. I'm not a drinker, but if I do have a drink, yes, moonshine is one of my preferred drinks. The LAPD were this is from Julie B. The LAPD were just picking people out to arrest. Streets caught them. It could be they were signaling out. Think about it from the fact of they are, going to arrest on the whole pepper spray incident, and they're trying to do it as this BS conspiracy thing that they're talking about. And the thing is, okay, it was this person. This is the one that we're looking for. So they got them on the live stream. They know they're there in that group, so it makes it that much easier for them. That's a common thing. I've used Facebook, I've used live streaming, I've used different platforms to locate where a person is, and it happens, and it's 100% legal because it's public. Let's see. I'm looking at these, making sure I'm good. Let's see. I'm just trying to see here. There was a comment from Kate Murphy that a few people were responding to. I want to make sure. How far back was it?
Yeah, a lot of great comments. It's great to see everyone.
And thank you all for being civil. As I say, I am open to open debate, open dialogue, unbiased. We go into it, but we don't argue. Okay. The minute that if you feel that you're starting to get upset and you're aggravated and you're going to say something, step back, take a breath, give yourself a minute or two. Okay. Open and civil debate. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with all these. Yeah, it's crazy. But Chad, I know, knowing your subscriptions to People Magazine, Star Magazine, National Enquirer is one of my favorites.
I do like National Enquirer.
You're not interested in hearing this stuff, are you? You want to hear about other things.
Well, we got to talk about John Travolta.
Yeah, and good old Tommy Boy.
Yep.
And I Mike Brown was talking about it in his video, and then he and I talked about it when we spoke on the side. And the amazing thing is, all these things that are going on, how many more videos do we need about John Travolta and Tom Cruise? I mean, does anyone care that Tom Cruise wiped his nose with a paper towel instead of a Kleenex? Is that really that important to me? Do I really care about what kind of surround sound he has for his giant 183-inch TV? No. I know it's important to you, Chad. I know.
Well, I haven't watched anything from John Travolta since Welcome Back, Kotter. I don't know if he's made any shows since that. That was good. I'm more of a Tom Hanks fan because Tom Hanks has over 300 typewriters, Poe. So that's my position on that.
I think that it's all washed away by the talented, amazing acting that was done in the movie Battlefield Earth. I think that should have been at least 17 Oscars. And I don't know how it wasn't. But folks, I mean, honestly, I don't give a crap. Am I a Tom Cruise fan? No. Do I like a couple of the movies he's done? Yeah. Pretty much I like the first Jack Reacher. I thought that was really cool. And then I liked, of course, Top Gun. My like or dislike of Tom Cruise because of his association with Scientology aside, those were movies that I enjoyed. And didn't Top Gun Maverick make $1 billion, Chad? Did you? I thought I heard somewhere along the lines of $1 billion.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't really know.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, it's Louise. And I think Louise covers this topic very well. The Tom John talk has all been said before and is just being rehashed. It's time to look more to the present day. Absolutely. I do not see a problem. Like with Janice Gillan Grady and Mark doing the Peeling the Onion. They have some amazing stories from back then. But if you are claiming that your number one duty is to shut this organization down, the fact is how are you going to sit there and say, okay, how are you going to sit there and and want to talk about John and Tommy all the time, or talk about, these supposed documents that came out and aren't, they aren't being given to people that, truly deserve to see them. You're going to talk about these things, and you're going to keep talking about, and as Jane put it, you're going to keep rehashing things that have been told already how many times, and you're going to ignore what's going on now. I think that the protesters in LA, the protesters in Florida, the protesters in the other places, I think Austin is another one, they're doing more to shut Scientology down than sitting around and talking about the John Travolta and Tom Cruise. I think that the focus has been taken off of what we truly need to be talking about, and it's put out there with those guys or something like that, and it seems like it's more for just get people in there. Oh my gosh, it's Johnny and Tommy, I gotta watch this. There are folks that are like that, but I think that it's truly taking us away from the focus of what is important, the actions that are happening now. How many of those Scientology offices in LA are closed up, curtains drawn, doors locked, and they're not letting anybody in? They're not making any contact outside. That is actually making a difference. All right. Yes, it's great. Expose them, expose what they've done in the past, but quit ignoring the things that are going on now, the things that are actually moving us forward towards the goal of shutting this organization down. Kim Can Do, I am tired of Travolta being excused because he is a nice guy. He allows this abuse, donates to keep the abuse perpetuating, so he is just as bad. And I agree with that 100%. If you know the stuff's happening and you turn a blind eye to it, how does that make you any better than the people who are telling you it's not happening? All right. People know this stuff is happening. And, Chad, what are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, no, I agree. We got to be focusing on the things that are, like you said, the protests that's really making a difference. They're not even able to open up shop every day.
Yeah. So let's take a little bit look at this timeline. We have Aaron Smith Levin, and there's this sudden quietness that's going on. We're not hearing anything from the Aftermath Foundation. We're not hearing, Aaron's not calling out the Aftermath Foundation, like he was doing. Then we get it. We're informed that Aaron has left the Aftermath Foundation. And Aaron comes out with a live stream explaining what's going on and how it all went down. Silence. We get silence from, I think there was an email that was sent out or a notice that was sent out, but that was the gist of what we were hearing. All right. Aaron talked about it. He got it all out there and he moved on. We're not getting any response elsewhere. And the thing is that more and more is happening. Aaron gets arrested. Others get arrested. There's continual ongoing protests in LA, in Clearwater. Now they're happening at other places. They're not talking about it. There's no comment on what's going on. And this is why I have a real problem with things. Number one, you have actual questions being asked from the people who have a right to ask. I'm one of those people. Chad's one of those people. There were donations made, money given, time volunteered to this organization. We have a right to ask these questions. That's why my topic tonight was simply just stop, focus. And it's because we have to stop with this whole mentality of, I tell you what I want you to see, and that's it. There's a lot going out there. The Squirrel Squad. Now you got Liz Ferris was just in LA. You have all these things going on. You have these people going almost every night to the Scientology orgs or their buildings or their offices, places like that. and they're going out there, they're protesting, they're 1A auditing this stuff, and they're putting it out there live for everyone to see. Why aren't they talking more about it? And I've been somewhat silent about it, and I talked about this before. I don't want to be one of those people. If you notice, when someone comes out of Scientology or actually comes out publicly that they're no longer with Scientology, they instantly, they're on every single channel and everybody's interviewing them and you're hearing the same stories. I don't like being that person where you're hearing the same story rehashed for the 30th time in a week. I like to be on topics that either it's after everything has happened and then talk to the Squirrel Squad, talk about what's going on, how it felt and what was going on with that, rather than trying to jump in there with everybody else. You know, they're out there doing this work. They're getting themselves arrested. They're putting themselves in danger doing this. And last thing I want to do is to distract them from what they're doing. I want them to be safe. I want them to be careful. And we all know what's going on. So we need to be, you know, supportive of them in that way. And Mark, I was just saying, you guys you're a different side of it. You're talking about the crimes of Scientology and what's been going on and all that. But we have other people that are saying they are, you know, that's their job. They're out here to exclusively bring it down. You're exposing the abuses, the things that were happening. All right. You know, there are people coming out talking to you and Janice that aren't talking to anyone else, and you're getting their stories out there. And yes, there's an absolute need and a place for that. But what I'm talking about is the people who are claiming that they're on the active front line fighting to bring this organization down, but yet they're not covering any of the active ongoing stuff that's happening right now. What are your thoughts about stuff like that, Chad?
Oh, I agree. You know, Mark's channel, Mark and Janice's channel, is one of my favorite channels aside from Poe and the Go, and that's exactly it.
Thank you. You have folks like myself and Marilyn Honig. We're never ends. We're not near where all that stuff is going on. I'm in Southeast Michigan. She's over in New England. Much like you, Chad. Yep. But we're still making sure that the message is getting out there. We're still supporting the Squirrel Squad. We report on the major things as they happen. And probably, you know, something that has also been just horribly silenced is the Miriam Frances situation, where we know what's going on with her. And we saw what appeared to be a dead agent document come out to go after her and go after Mike Brown and go after Jamie Mustard. And I think it's really interesting that in the comments about that, you know, and the dead agent thing where they're coming after these folks, neither Mike Brown nor Jamie Mustard had come out to go after the Aftermath Foundation, to go after Mike Render. And they were saying pretty silent about it until they were thrown right into the mix. And then they're accused of being glory hounds or clickbaiting or whatever, however it was called, you know, and that's just absolutely amazing to me. You're supposed to be part of and here we go again, another organization that's supposed to be a benevolent organization. And those in power are acting in ways to where it appears they don't care. We know what happened to Miriam Frances. Why deny her the ability to get this DSR for the PTSI? Why deny her a document that you claim to have? I saw the email that was posted where basically it was, yeah, I've got it. Have you been recording our conversations? That, you know, what in the world are you thinking? Why are you acting like this? Why are you not being the open, responsive, caring person that everyone thinks you are and that you're portrayed to be? And that, to me, that's amazing. And so we get this this blog that comes out, and it's basically going straight on to the attack after, first off, I don't want anybody attacking these people. And then it goes into, well, all these years I've been a victim and you need to, to me, it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. You can't look at a victim like Miriam Francis and ignore that. So here we are again. We're focusing on things we shouldn't be focusing on, and we should be moving forward. We should be looking at the broader picture. So this is an example of, it's not just rehashing the past. It's a story of how there is something actually going on now and the refusal to do anything about it or give the help that's needed. Sarah Bauman, yeah, but that would be for the Squirrel Squad. That if I couldn't do a shirt for that, because that's their their thing. And I'm, if we do something like a fourth wall or something like that, I might try to design something up for them and see what they think. And if they want to run with it, they can create a fourth wall account and get that merch out there. But I don't want to take any credit for anything that they're doing. Does it matter to you? Not to me. Now that I like that, I've got a shirt that actually says, "In memory of when I cared." Aftermath is acting like stuff happened in the past. Let's get people out and ignored what happened to them. Yeah, I'm conflicted on so many bases as to what's going on with that organization and how they're dealing with things. And I don't understand the drive or what they're actually doing. Here we go. Peter Foster, DOA has a great take on everyone, including so-called clout chasers or even bad press, puts the world's eyes on Scientology. Yeah, but the thing is I've heard about this. I've heard the saying for many, 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 many years. There's no such thing as bad press. Well, when they're changing the narrative, Jeffrey Augustine had done something about this, and he had posted it on the Scientology Money Project, where they are actually trying to twist the narrative to make it as though the protesters are attacking. And that's the thing, is that, that can actually be bad press, even though it does put Scientology into the world's eye. The problem is when they twist it, and if they get people to believe it, then it makes Scientology a victim. And that's the whole purpose of a lot of things that are being done. Well, look who's here. Or is it Marilyn jumped off and came back on under your... No, I'm joking. We all know it's Duncan. I'm glad you're doing better, bud. You're right. You're on the right track, supporting and giving a platform to second and third gens. They are a fighting force on the front lines. They're healing and recovery. Oh, and there's another part to it. Okay, we'll wait till that gets there. Oh, there it is. Depends on their getting to release their experience and fight back. They deserve our support. Absolutely. So everybody's getting, don't call them second gens. I don't know what to call them, folks. Second and third gens is the best way I can describe them. And that's coming directly from Liz Ferris and other people who would be part of that group. So that's why, second and third gens sounds like the best way to go with it. Absolutely. They need to have their voice out there. That's part of their healing, is that they're able to stand up to those who had oppressed them in their childhood and in their formative stages of life. That shows them that they have a strength in themselves and that they can depend on themselves, and they no longer have to be in fear of this organization or the people that are in there. So absolutely, Duncan. Absolutely. And Duncan has his own channel, Free as an Eagle. Make sure you check that out. He's doing some really good content over there, and give him some love and support. That's Marilyn Honig's husband, Duncan, and really good person. And check out some of his Facebook posts. I mean, that guy gets out there. He's out there climbing mountains and stuff like that. Awesome stuff. My busted up old body, I have trouble walking up the stairs. So Cynthia Butler, when I have filed complaints to the FBI in the past, they have accepted the complaint. I was instructed not to tell anyone. I'm wondering if some of the victims have been advised such. Could very possibly be. It could be. And let me just say that for anyone, if anyone gets the wrong idea with them saying don't discuss it, it's not a matter of don't discuss it because we're trying to control you. It's a matter of, a great example is when Aaron got arrested and folks wanted to file complaints with the LAPD. And I'm like, let's hold off. Let's see what Aaron's attorney has to say. Aaron should be the one making that determination. And a bunch of, and Aaron's attorney said, no, don't file the complaint. Give it a couple of weeks. He had different avenues he could go at on it, but there were a ton of people went ahead and filed complaints. And then LAPD voluntarily said, okay, we're investigating it. Now you can't FOIA any of the information because of that. And that's my understanding. And I heard that from Streets and a few different people that once they begin an investigation, you can't FOIA the records and all that. So they have to literally get a subpoena to have it. And, so with these kinds of things, they're not telling you for the matter of we don't want you talking. It's a matter of putting the word out can hamper the investigation. So I can understand why they would say it. And it's quite possible if they said it to you, then I would say that they're saying it with other people. Mischief Managed question. I have the doc, but won't share it unless you answer me. So is MR a blackmailer or a liar? Neither is a good look. I'll agree with that. Neither of it is a good look. I can't tell you if you'd be considered a blackmailer. It does sound like it. I was saying it the other day when I was doing the live about Miriam and Mike Brown and what's going on. Is it seems like it's a matter of trying to blackmail her with it. Let's see. Just so you know, ooh, nice dog. Doing good works today doesn't wash away crimes committed yesterday. It's time for the Aftermath members to step up. Pesha's message to Kelly was infuriating. The messages to Marilyn from I believe it was Mitch Brisker. Is that who it was, Chad?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Did you see those messages?
I did.
What did you think about that?
I didn't like them.
I thought it was ridiculous.
Yep.
I had gotten a lot of people try to get in touch with me that wanted to sway my opinion on things. And there were some that are friends, and I think that were acting out of the goodness of their heart. They were calling me saying, hey, here's something you need to know. But there were other people who were clearly trying to get me to shut up. And the ones who I know weren't trying to do that, I still have contact with them because I think that they were truly trying to do the right thing. It's the other folks that were using a more Mitch type approach to things that I'm just like, okay,
yep.
See how that's going to be. I'm one of those people that you're not going to threaten me into anything, but I will truly listen to what people have to say. And especially if it's people that I look up to or people that I consider my friends, I will listen to what they have to say before I make a move forward. And right. I think I also showed it pretty well. There were some things that were said to me and I was asked to keep them confidential, and I certainly have kept with that. So, So, I mean, it was when you were talking about that therapy you're going through and you didn't want nobody. Oh, I'm sorry, Chad.
I just wanted to say I stand with Maryland, not with Mitch Banker or Mitch Brisker, whatever his name is. Yeah. I don't really know his name. I don't really want to know his name.
Marilyn is a great person. She has a great big heart. So that means she can be hurt easily also because she has such a big heart. And sometimes that hurt comes from not from someone hurting her personally. It comes from her seeing someone else get hurt. And I stand with her and Duncan, and I'm glad she's got Duncan there with her. He's a good man. And plus she's got Rocky and Apollo. So I think she's got a pretty good support team there. Hillary Murphy, it seems that members of the current board of the Aftermath Foundation have made it very clear they don't intend to answer questions that hold them accountable. And I think that that's really, as Chad and I have talked about it before, I think that it's really starting to come forward. And you're starting to see that this, I saw something on there and I thought it made me laugh. People are showing their true colors in this. They're showing who they really are. You know, when I hear about the SPTV Discord and all that, and saw some of the horrible posts that were put on there, I just, and from people that shocked me. Chad, did you see any of those?
That was a while ago, but I did see the Discord ones. Yeah, that was very shocking. You're right.
It actually was hurtful to me to see people, and I don't know if I was ever brought up, and I don't care, but seeing seeing the things that people were saying on there that were supposed to be friends of ours and friends of people that we know, and seeing those kind of comments being put forth by people that we thought you could trust, it was very hurtful to me. But wow, yeah, it's crazy world. Joel McCoy, this may seem harsh. I have said it before. The end is in sight for the Aftermath Foundation. The board has made this happen. The stuff they put on, then delete, and then delete it. One dumb move after another. Sad, my opinion. I mirror that. I just don't know how, because my understanding is they got a bit of coin in the bank right now. So it'll be interesting to see, what kind of effect it has and how long it takes for things to actually get into it. Let's see. I'm looking here. Okay. There's a conversation going on. I thought they had a question or comment. Geraldine Thompson, yesterday, the Scientologist blew up YouTube. I put thumbs down on all of their podcasts. When I went back, my thumbs were down or changed to thumbs up. That's really interesting. But there's so much crazy stuff goes on with YouTube. Chad, I think you can mirror that. You've had people just like with me. I'll come in 1 minute and I've got X amount of subscribers, hit refresh and it's gone down by 10. And then the next day it'll be up by 12.
Yes.
So you see that, don't you?
Yep, absolutely.
And it happens far too often for it to be some kind of just freak thing. I think that there's a lot of problems in the YouTube algorithms and what's going on. Let's see here. Free as an eagle, that Duncan. Yep, Marilyn has a heart. Yes, and it does make you feel things. But yes, we have tight support. Yep, and that's the thing is that I'll talk to Marilyn and I can tell that she's upset. And first thing I'm saying is go get them dogs and get that man. And because I know for me that's where my support is in my partner, in my wife, my best friend. And I'll scream it from the mountaintops till the day I die. I married way above my pay grade on that. But the great thing is I have a confidant there, someone that I can depend on. And so I know how that feels. And I'm glad that Marilyn has that. And she got two great boys. So I really love seeing them going out and going to their boys' events. I wish there would be more investigations into the Narconon facilities. I am really wanting to start take a look into Narconon. I'll put my email address in there again. I want, if anybody has any real firsthand information on the Narconon stuff and all that, shoot me an email. I want to talk to some folks about that. I'd like to start taking a bigger look into that. I think that might be another real good gateway point into things with Scientology, is if we can start showing, hey, this is supposed to be for this, but it's actually more of a recruiting for something else. I think that might have a big impact. And Laura Waldy gifted 5 memberships. So if you got one of those memberships, make sure you thank Laura. Thank you so much, Laura, on that.
That's great.
Let's see. And again, thank you and Gary for being amazing mods. Marjan, I just got here. Who do I need to pull on? I don't know what I don't know what you mean, Marjan, but we're talking about the different things that are going on right now. And the fact that we have folks that are supposed to be out there helping to bring down this organization, but they're not talking about any of the current stuff that's actually making a difference in it. The protesters getting arrested, but none of the offices are open where they're at. They're shoving the Sea Org members or the staffers into buses and taking them covertly around the properties, things like that. They're making a real impact. If they're impacting the everyday operations, and they're affecting the fact that children aren't being kept in there in basically indentured servitudes, making underage people sign a billion-year contract when they're not even legally allowed to sign contracts. All right. They say it's not happening now, but they also say that disconnecting is not happening. They say that fair gaming is not happening. But you tell me, is Liz Ferris able to talk to her father? How many people have talked about it that it's going on right now that they aren't able to talk to any of their family in there? They aren't able to talk to any of their friends. All right. So you say disconnect's not happening. You say fair game's not happening. Well, tell me why I got people going into my mailbox out in front of my house. Tell me why I'm finding Apple AirTags on my cars, why I got people down the street taking pictures of my house, why I got the same car showing up here and then 45 miles away down in Toledo. If they say that that's not happening, that they're no longer doing these things, but yet it's still happening, then how can we trust them on the fact that they say they're not making children sign billion-year contracts? How can we trust them on the fact that they're saying, oh, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, when you're already proving yourself not to be honest? How am I going to trust it?
You can't trust them with loose change, even, Paul.
What's that?
You can't even trust them with loose change. Can't be trusted
No,
at all.
You can't. But that, that's the thing is that they're, if you're telling me you aren't doing something and I got proof that you are doing it, I can't believe you when you say you're not doing something else, or you are doing something else. I can't believe you. And that's the thing is that we've got to be, vigilant with these things, and we've got to keep pushing the proof out there. That's why I'm openly talking about the things that are happening to me. That's because that's putting it out there in the public face. And the fact is that unless we keep calling them out, we keep proving what they're doing, they're going to keep operating like that because they think people are afraid of them. And it's once they see people aren't afraid and they're going to keep fighting back, I don't think they ever counted on the internet being as strong as it is. And I don't think that they were prepared for it. I think that they use a lot of tactics that you see from, the smear campaigners and things like that on trying to take out other people, but no one's watching their crap. No one's looking at it. People are listening to Aaron Smith Levin. They're listening to Scientology, Life Outside of the Cult. They're listening to Down the Rabbit Hole. Aaron Smith Levin shows up on Lex Freeman podcast. Then he shows up on talking to Dr. Jordan Peterson. He's getting it out there. And once you start looking at the numbers that he's pulling with these appearances that he's making, I mean, he's getting up there. Pretty soon he's going to start getting into the realm of the Aftermath television show with the number of people who are hearing his story.
Yeah.
So, it's important that we keep pushing out this new information. It's important that we keep it in the eye. And Peter, I wasn't trying to argue with that, but when you were saying about it's putting Scientology in the public eye, we got to make sure it's in the right way. It's showing the truth about Scientology. I agree with you 100% that, yeah, it does keep Scientology in their eye, but we got to make sure that they don't come out controlling the narrative and trying to spin it to where it makes them the victims and makes, other people think, wow, those guys are just trying to practice their religion and they got all these people attacking them. We want to make sure they know why you got the protesters out there going against Scientology, going against the things that are going on with them. Now, let's talk about the fact that, we've talked about how they want to keep pushing us toward, we're going to keep bringing out these stories about these stars. We're not going to answer questions about this. We're going to do this. And if you'll notice, I'm never pointing right at the camera like that. I'm pointing every direction because that's how it seems that things are going. Now we got the fact of not just Miriam, but now we're hearing from other, and I'm going to call them the hated word, second gens. We've got others that are talking about the horrible things that are happening to children. And I think that Jamie Mustard was absolutely right, was 100% on target when he said, we have to make that the first priority. And I agree. I think that we've all been thinking about, primarily take down this organization, but I think that we need to focus on those children that are the children that are going through the baby factory, the children that are going through the horrible treatment of being told that they're not children, that they're actually adults. They're billion-year-old. I don't know how many. I've forgotten at this point, but they're these ancient beings inside of a child's body. So we've got to, I think that that's where it needs to go first, is we need to start worrying about these children, getting these children out of there. How many children are coming up out of South America and they're being brought in for this stuff that we don't even know about? Chad, do you remember the video from Florida where they had the bunk beds 3 high in that hotel
Absolutely.
room?
Yep.
What did you think about that when you saw that?
Yeah, I think it's very sad. It's a violation of the health code and everything.
Well, I mean, think about it. A fire in a place like that, the inability for 11 people slammed into a room to get out safely and effectively. It's a proven fact that, and we went through these kinds of drills and training when I was in law enforcement, where a full room trying to exit that is such chaos, and how to be able to get them out safely. So here you have room after room after room stuffed beyond what is legal for capacity, and you have something major happen. How do you get them out safely? And I talked about this with Mark Bunker when we were talking about, getting the people out there and doing the inspections. One of the problems is that apparently word is being gotten to them in time that things can be moved around so that they don't look as bad. But that's what's going on. And you got to think guys like Mark Bunker, who, and that's another point I'm going to bring up in a minute. He is literally one of the people who's been leading the charge for decades now. And he's never gotten the true support that I think he should have gotten for it. Pamela in deconstruction mode. Interesting name. Comment. Confidential Chris posted a video literally of Serge doing a demonstration of an e-meter auditing session. It's very, if you've never seen it, it's crazy. And that's the thing is that those are the things that need to get out there also and need to be in the public's eye. And remember that it's not just adults that are getting these sessions. It's also children. Well, here's the thing is, and that's from talking with some other folks about it. The CPS has actually shown up at these places, but there's always, they got the stories down. They've got the script down for what the kids are going to say, how they're going to react, all those different things. And they know how to get through it. The thing is trying to be able to get a surprise thing going on. And I think one of the biggest things that has to happen is because CPS are trained individuals who are able to deal with children, that's their job, be able to get the children separated from the adults, or get the children separated, period. So that they can't build these stories up, they can't push it and have someone there guiding them through. I think that's the way those things have to happen. Again, we're talking about different states, different laws in each state, so we have to see how it goes. Drifter Shelley, question: do you think COS will get grants from the federal government to house illegal immigrants? That would be interesting, and if you could put forth a good enough thing from it. But I don't know if they would get the grants from the federal government, or if they go to the cities where they're at, and then the money would be filtered down to them. But when you're looking at some of the things that they're paying for some of these folks who are coming into the country with these open borders, and how much money they're paying for it, just look in Chicago and the outrage that's going on there. And Chad, you're how are the thoughts over there in New York State? You guys got New York City right there.
Oh yeah, well, Buffalo's pretty calm.
Okay, yeah, but New York City, I mean, you had the mayor. Is that Eric Adams? Is that his name? He came out and he's talking about how this is going to be it's going to demolish the city. So there's so much money going into it. And I think that the thing is that if Scientology thinks they're going to make some money off of it one way or another, they could also be looking at the fact that they're recruiting new people through what they're doing. So it'd be interesting to see, but I guarantee you, if they got those folks in there and started feeding them beans and rice, that'd be on the news real quick. So let's see how it goes. I don't know if they can get it or not, but they've got to be able to show the ability to house them safely and have the amenities that they need, showers, full bathrooms with showers, or the ability to keep themselves clean. the ability to get the food to them, those kinds of things, making sure that they are sleeping in a environment that's not unsafe to them. Those are all things that are going to have to be looked into, and all that stuff is watched very closely by the news and different organizations. So, if they didn't do things the way they're supposed to, they'd be held to the fire pretty quick for that. Tracy Franklin comment: after the Austin opening yesterday, Pearl Snappy streamed. They had so many kids there, it was so heartbreaking. That is, yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it. Like I said, it's crazy times, the kid between work and then here, Sundays are family day, so we've been doing that, and that is not a complaint at all. Oz Brumby, Pull on the Go question: what do you think of the list of names LLGG made? Good day from Australia. Hey, thank you. Chad, do you know what that is?
I don't think so, Paul. No.
I don't know it either. Oz, if you could let me know a little bit more. Like I said, I really just haven't had the chance. I haven't been able to keep up with all of it. I'm trying to, but good Lord. There is so much happening. It's happening at every day of the week. Amy M, that's why there has to be protests in New York City. That would be, yeah. I'm just wondering, I mean, how dangerous is it down there in NYC right now? I mean, look at what's happening in LA with the protesters out there. So I'd be, yeah. Let's see. Hasadiga Ibawe. I was up till 6 a.m. watching Streets. He called 911 after a cigarette assault. LAPD refused to take a PPA, even with multiple videos. I'm just wondering if not a matter, and I'm playing devil's advocate, so please don't get upset about it. But I'm wondering if they're looking at it as a cigarette being flicked at someone is actually that major of a thing that they would do that. And there may be certain instances where that may be maybe something that's outside of the PPA realm on that. There may be very specifics on that. I don't know enough about the PPAs, but I'm trying to find out. Let's see. Makmir Doshigal. These kids have been indoctrinated and intimidated. CPS won't be able to do much about it as long as Scientology has legal protections through acknowledgement as a religion. I'm just wondering how that applies to CPS itself, because some things they just don't have a choice on, especially if you have a child, if you have the report that a child could be there and they're being held basically in an indentured servitude, or even worse. But the thing is that, some of these things may not, the church's ability to hide itself. I mean, look what happened with the Catholic Church and what was going on with them. So I don't think that, that religious aspect of it keeps them immune on all areas. Okay, Julie B. No, they kept lying, saying the guy threw a cig, wasn't there, even though they had him changing clothes and running out with the cops. Yeah, but I mean, we have to look at it from several different points. Number one is what are the laws there and how they pertain to the PPAs. We already know that LAPD seems pretty misguided, is a word I would use, and that's so there's a lot going into it. But I think there was one arrest, wasn't there? Chad, do you know? And
no, I missed that one, Paul.
Folks, if you know, I think there was one arrest, but I don't know about the others. I know that there's some others that should have happened. Okay, Joe Raz 16. It's a list of names of ex-Scientologist members that were born in Scientology and endured the mistreatment, abuse. They also had committed unliving. Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I see. I think that I actually did a video about victims of Scientology, and it wasn't just about those who are no longer with us. It was also about those who are still in, and about those who have been, they were children and horrible things happened to them. But part of that was to the people who unalived themselves and it appears that Scientology had some part to play in what happening with them doing that. Putting out a list of names like that, it all depends on the circumstance of how the names are put out there. If they're put out there in a memorial type thing and they're putting them out there so that everybody knows those names and don't forget it, I would be behind, but I would also be cognizant of the fact of how do the families feel about it. So, Nebulous, I don't know if he is linked with Freemasonry like he was with Aleister Crowley. I don't know. I know he was doing some funky stuff. I believe the guy's name was Parker. They were doing some really funky stuff, and I'm not, I wouldn't be surprised. He probably tried to enlist as much as he could. I mean, we have the statements of many people in the psychiatry psychological world who are saying that basically the Dianetics book appears to be a Freudian treatment that Freud himself stopped because he felt it was too dangerous. They're saying that that's one of the reasons why they hate psychiatrists and psychologists so much, because Hubbard tried to introduce it as a new treatment and get a certification or something through the Psychological or Psychiatry Association, and they refused him, and that he was angry. There's a lot of people who have told that story about that, so we don't know. Dylan Chatterton comment: if you want to know more about Narconon, I went there for 7 months and worked there for 4 years. Email me. I'm sending you my email address again. Yeah, definitely email me. I would love. We need to talk. See what we can do. Let's see. Goosebumps 801. Great new digest is provided by daily by Natalie Webster. Yeah, I did. I know I said the name of her channel wrong. Folks, if you know it, put it into the comment there what her channel is or the link to it. Right. Let's see here. Oh, okay. You're talking about the scroll. Okay. I think that putting those names out there and the way that they wasn't a matter of disrespecting those who were gone. It was demanding respect for them. And I do agree with that. It's something different if you're doing it in a way that harms others. This is in a way to keep their memory alive. So yeah, I agree with that. Kate Murphy, got to run. Kate, you have a good evening. Thank you as always. Yeah. So a lot of people are saying, that's a memorial that I think is sharing and keeping their names alive and making sure people know. Let's see. Cynthia Butler, I was fair gamed 2021 to 2023. False allegations on the internet repeatedly on the internet and in lawsuits. Whoa. Please email me. Please email me. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Had everyone in tears with broken hearts. Absolutely. Let's see. Southern Mama, Anton was head of the Church of Satan. I'm not thinking he did the ceremony. I'm thinking it was, they were following Aleister Crowley's rituals and things like that he did. And there was a specific one that apparently a lot of the rituals that they were trying to practice, they for some reason had a whole lot of sex to do with them. And that's something that's really interesting, that for someone who said that not until you're married, if you're a Scientologist, certainly engaged in a whole lot of hypocrisy with a lot of young women in his time. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, absolutely. Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, no, someone was asking if he was involved in the Freemasonry. I don't know if he ever was or not. And I don't remember reading anything about Freemasonry. Chad, have you ever heard of anything like that?
Not to the best of my knowledge. No, I don't think he was.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm talking about him and Jack Parsons with the when they were doing the oh, what was his name? Aleister Crowley stuff
Yep.
and the satanic stuff and all that. That's what I was talking about as it pertained to him. But I don't know if um, Lafayette Ronald Hubbard had any connection with the Freemasons at all. Like I said, I haven't heard of anything, but anything's possible. I mean, knowing him, he was probably the head of the Freemasons, and they went through some kind of blood ritual where they touched pinky toes, and he was automatically made the world's most legendary Freemason. I mean, that
Yeah.
he instantly became a blood brother with a Native American tribe, which even though the elders say there's never been such a kind of ceremony to do that, but hey,
Oh, that was right after he personally won World War I and World War II.
Absolutely. And he saved the east coast of the United States when he used up every bit of ammunition to blow up that log floating in the water. So let's see. Well, Southern Mama, I think that, everybody puts all this stuff on, how much of an education you have. But I know a lot of people that are multimillionaires, and I know a billionaire who just have high school diplomas. And that's the thing is that you know having that degree doesn't make you have that much more drive or that much more ability. But the fact is that we have to be you know you have to have drive, you have to have the want, and you have to have come up with good ideas, and sometimes school just can't teach you that. So um as I was talking about earlier, we have to keep our eyes on what's going on. We can't let ourselves be diverted to things that have no meaning in the fight that we're putting up. We can't let ourselves be fooled into believing that, what someone did 30 years ago is bringing this organization down. It's the actions of people like Streets. It's the actions of people like Confidentially Chris. It's the DOA, Laura FM, all those folks that are out there. It's the Lori Plays, the folks down in Clearwater. It's the folks all over this country who are stepping up and making their voices heard about this organization. We cannot allow people to divert our attention to other things that are not important. That's why I made it a point of putting the fact that those celebrities seem to be such a hot topic for other channels, and how I'm tired of it. Yep, Pearl Snappy. Yep. And there's going to be people I forget. I'm not meaning to forget them because I don't like them or something like that. It's just a matter of there are so many out there. It's hard to keep on top of. And but the fact is that we have to make sure that we're keeping our eye on what's going on, because the other attempts that have been made in the past haven't done anything. That organization still operates the way it always has. We have to make sure that we're looking at the people who are doing these things now, putting them in the spotlight, and they're the ones who are making things happen. Like I said, if you have an office that closes down and no one's going in, no one's going out, then that office is not productive. The more of them that this is happening with is the more of them that are going to stop being productive for this organization. There are going to be downsides at some point, because if they're having no production, how are they getting forward with what they're doing? So this is important that we keep an eye on what's going out there with these folks who are live streaming from the petitioning and the protesting and the First Amendment auditing. It's very important that we keep them in the spotlight and we keep pushing forward with this. Eventually, the mainstream media is going to have to listen up. We've already seen, we have one person who's made complaints with the Department of Justice and the FBI concerning the child laws and the human trafficking and those things that are going on. And it's very important that we don't stop. We keep the voice going. We keep everybody informed. And we don't worry about, which celebrity eats at this place or whether they wear this kind of shoe and how that's significant of something in the past. I don't care about that. Never cared about celebrities in the first place. We need to keep our eyes on what's going on. and what they're doing. And now we have this group of young people that are stepping up, and they're taking the fight to Scientology. And I think that's very important that we keep that, because if we keep that fighting spirit, then they can't keep prevailing against it. Eventually they're going to be backed down, or they're going to be backed into a corner, and it's going to keep hurting them. And the more we keep out there with it, no, Peter, I didn't. If you're talking about when I had officers that were doing wrong and I reported them, the first couple of times, yeah, but after that, they realized it wasn't going to stop me. I held myself to a certain degree, and and I wouldn't accept it from others. So, they finally got the point. I mean, it's just how it is. But Chad, do you have any final thoughts for us tonight?
Let me think, Poe. No, I think we covered everything, Poe. It's great to be on with you.
This is an interesting one. Has anyone looked at Crowley's tarot, the Thoth deck, for connections to or origins to Scientology? I don't know. I don't know about the timeline there. If Crowley was active and alive at that point, or if he, I don't remember enough about Crowley. I've never really been interested anymore, a fan of it. The only time Crowley's really been of interest to me is through Ozzy Osbourne's song, and through what I found out about LRH. What about you, Chad?
Right, yeah, I don't really know too much about him except what we heard from on the live streams.
Yeah, I don't know much. But folks, like I've been saying, this is important. We need to keep making this voice stronger and stronger and stronger. Yes, there is importance to history, and we need to make sure that we know it. But to proclaim yourself as being someone who is out there in the fight against this organization, but yet you're not doing anything to actually fight it, other than bringing up all the same old stories about the same people, about the same incidents and all that, you're not progressing anything. You're just having fun talking with other people that you're friends with. Okay. Sometimes the truth is painful. Sometimes the truth hurts. Think about how many people were upset when Aaron got arrested. My phone literally was blowing up. All right. Think about when DOA got arrested, and all the things that have been going on, how we now know about Miriam, and the extreme shock that went through the community hearing about Miriam and what was being done to her. These are the things that we need to be focusing on. Again, history is great to know and hear every once in a while to make sure that it stays fresh in our memory, but not every single time. We need to keep moving forward. We need to look forward. And if we're going to look forward towards getting this organization shut down, we can't keep looking back. We have to keep the fight going. We have to keep pursuing that goal. And it's the strength of all of us together that is making this that much stronger. The more we're putting it out here on this channel, this platform, other platforms like Twitter, or X, I'm sorry. But the fact is the more that it gets out there, that's the less that they can fight it. We already know that their own individual stuff on these platforms is getting little to no views. Pretty much it seems like the people that are viewing it are the people who are already in. So who are you singing to but the choir? And if we don't keep our eyes on that prize and we don't keep pushing forward, we can never expect anything to happen. And it's the open discussion. It's the way that we communicate with each other in the chats, and as we go through with these lives, and from talking with everybody else in the community, that we're able to continue this platform, keep the word alive, let people know what's going on, update everyone as we go. And I think that is so very important that we do that. And as always, folks, I thank you 100% for every bit of your precious time you spend with me. I appreciate it all. And folks, last time I looked, I was, let's see here. Okay, I am 114 away from 10,000 subscribers. So if you know anybody, share with them, get them on over here, get them subscribed. You know what? If it happens, it'll be awesome. We're gonna have a little online party for doing that, and thank everybody, and try to get as many of. I'm going to try to get the link out there to as many of you as possible, and get a lot of you who have been in here from the start, have been friends through this channel. I want to get you guys in on the live stream as well. We can only do so many at a time, but we'll keep filtering people in and out. But yeah, we get to 10,000. Yeah, it's going to blow my mind. And then don't forget, coming up, the chat-a-thon for Miriam Francis. And we have a lot of people who have already said they would absolutely love to be special guests for this, so we can finish raising last a bit of money for her so that she can get the DSR treatment for her PTSI. We all know her story by now, and it's time that we get her some help. She's a beautiful person, very strong person, and it's a blessing to have her in this community and willing to speak about the horrors from her past. So, folks, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And life is short. You get one shot, make it count.